This video is on factorization using identities. In the previous classes, we have done the expansion using identities. I gave you the factorized form, and you have to expand that form into the required answer. For example, if I am giving you a plus b whole square, so this is basically the factorized form, and you have to convert this factorized form into this expanded form. A square plus 2ab plus b square is the expanded form. But in this video, we will learn how to convert an expanded form into a factorized form. Expanded form is the form in which there are no brackets, and factorized form is the form which has brackets. So our task is to convert an expanded form, that is a square plus 2ab plus b square, into a factorized form, that is a plus b whole square. You can see that there is no 2ab term inside the bracket. So when we are writing the factorized form, we have to skip this 2ab term. We just consider a and b and the sign of the middle term only. So this is the expanded form. This is the factorized form. We have to learn it just like that. We will be given questions like this. This time we will be given the question that had three terms, and we have to convert those terms into factorized form, the form which has brackets. We have three questions, one each from each identity, and we have to convert this expanded form into the factorized form, the form that has the brackets. One ways to do solve these type of questions is we know that when we have three terms and there is nothing common between the three terms, we can factorize it by using middle term breaking method. We can factorize it by using the middle term bracket by using the middle term breaking method, and we will be getting the same answers by which we will be getting the answers from the identities. But the problem is middle term breaking method will require a few steps and it will take some time, but by using identities we will be getting the answer in just one step. So this is an easy method, and I will recommend you to learn this method because it is very much helpful in your papers because it saves time. One thing which you have to listen very carefully is that in every case we cannot apply this identity. In order to apply this identity, the first and the third term, which I am circling over here, I am talking about this term, the first term and the third term. They both should be perfect squares. When they are perfect squares means you can apply the identity. When they are not perfect squares, you cannot apply the identity. Since in this case, the first and the third term are perfect squares, so I can apply this identity and I can factorize this question using identity. So what I have to do, I have to perform one check step and then I will just write my answer directly. What I have to do is that I just have to check whether this is basically completing the criteria of the identity. For that, I have to split it. I have to convert my question into this form, this expanded form, so that I can write the factorized form directly. For that, I have to write that like this. Since this is x, so I can write x whole square. And I know that 81 is the square of 9, so I will write it as 9 square. I am just transforming my question into the expanded form first, and then after converting it into the expanded form, I will just directly convert that into the factorized form. So it will be easier for me to convert that way. So I have written x square as x whole square and 81 as 9 square. Since this is a positive sign, so I will write a positive sign over here, and I know that my middle term is twice the product of the first and the second term. So this is basically my first term. This is the first term, so I will write x over here like this in brackets. And this is my second term, and I will write 9 in the bracket like this. And when I will multiply these three terms, I will get 18x, which is basically the middle term of my question. I will be getting this answer when I will multiply 2x and 9. So this means this is basically the expanded form. I just have to transform it. And since I have now transformed it, so I will just write it directly like this. I will just use a bracket. So I will make a bracket like this, and then I have to write a only. A is basically this term which is inside the bracket, so this will be x, and I have to take the sign of the middle term, that is positive, so I will write positive. And then there is no 2ab term in this bracket, so I will not write the 2ab term, I will ignore it, and just I have to write the b term. The b term is this 9, so I will just write 9 over here, and then I will close the bracket like this. So this is basically the factorized form of this expanded form. So I have reached my answer in just one step. I just have to perform this step to make it easier for me to write in the factorized form. Moving on to the next question, and I can see that there is a negative sign over here. So this means this is my a negative and a positive sign. So this means this is my second identity, and I will be using the same method. I will just have to transform this form. So I will just write 3 and x, because 3 square is 9 and x square is, so I will just make it like this, and then I will go at the end, and I know that 25 is basically square of 5, and I have y on again, so I will write y and then whole square. I have converted my question into the required form, but one term is missing, that is the 2ab term. Since this is the negative, so I will write negative sign then twice, and now again I will write my first term, which is basically 3x. So I will write it in bracket like this, and then I have to close the bracket, and my second term is 5y, so I will again introduce a bracket and I will write 5y, and then I will close the bracket. So this is the middle term, and now I will multiply it to check whether I am getting 30xy or not. When I will multiply 2, 3, 6 and 6, 5, 30, so I am getting this term, which is basically the middle term. So I will just now write the factorized form, which is the first term. I have to use a bracket like this, and then I have to write the first term only. The first term is inside the bracket, which is 3x. So I will write 3x only, and then I have to take the sign of the middle term, which is negative. So I will write negative, and then I have to take the sign, and I have to take the last term, which is inside the bracket, and that is 5y. No need to write the middle term because there is no middle term in the factorized form. So this is basically the answer of this question. Moving on to the last question. The last question is, I can say that this is my third identity, in which the question has been given in this form: a square minus b square. This is also a square. This is also a square. So I just need to write it like this. So what will I do? I will just transform my question. I know that there is 2, which square is 4, so it will be 2x whole square. And since there is a negative sign in the identity, and I know that square of 5 is 25, so I will write 5 and then y. I just need to write it like this because it is easier for me now to convert it into the factorized form. And now I can see that this is basically my identity: a square. There is a square on a, there is a square on b, and a negative sign in between. So I just have to make two brackets. I will just make two brackets like this. In the first bracket, I will write a plus b, and I know that my a is basically 2x. This is the a, and I can write a small a, and this is basically my b. So I will just write it one time with a positive 2x, and then plus 5y. You can also write a negative bracket first, it's up to you, it will make no difference. And the other one will be 2x minus 5y.